In January 2015, the Boston Celtics made what seemed like a routine trade, sending Jeff Green to the Memphis Grizzlies for a protected first-round pick. No one could have predicted the impact this pick would have years later. Fast forward to 2019, that pick, top 8 protected, allowed Memphis to draft Ja Morant, a generational talent who changed the course of their franchise forever. But what if this pick wasn't protected? What if the Celtics had landed Ja Morant instead? How would this single change reshape the NBA? Would the Celtics have built a dynasty, or would their path to greatness take an unexpected turn? Let's find out how one pick could have rewritten NBA history.
In 2019, with Ja Morant joining the Celtics, everything changes. Kyrie Irving leaves in free agency and Boston doesn't pursue Kemba Walker. They also let Terry Rozier go for free, which leaves Kemba as Charlotte's franchise player and Rozier as their backup point guard. The Celtics used the extra cap room to re-sign Marcus Morris to a 2-year, $30 million deal. The Celtics now focus on building around Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and rookie Ja Morant. With Marcus Smart leading the defense and Ja's speed and playmaking, Boston's offense becomes fast, unpredictable, and exciting. The young core sets the stage for a fresh, dynamic team ready to compete without relying on veteran stars. With the loss of Kemba Walker, the Celtics drop 3 additional games, but still hold on to the 3rd seed in the East. On the flip side, without Ja Morant, the Grizzlies plummet to the 13th seed in the West, as they shift their focus to tanking for the 2020 draft. Meanwhile, the Hornets retain Kemba Walker as their franchise player, picking up 4 extra wins, though they still fall short of the playoffs. For Boston, this move speeds up Tatum and Brown's development. They take on bigger scoring and leadership roles earlier than expected.
Ja's electric playmaking opens up new opportunities for them, and together, they turn the Celtics offense into a highlight show.
Marcus Smart continues to anchor the defense, and the trio quickly becomes one of the most exciting young cores in the league. Ja takes home Rookie of the Year, cementing himself as one of the NBA's brightest young stars. With their new Big Three, the Celtics make a strong playoff push. Just like in real life, they reach the Eastern Conference Finals to face Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. And just like real life, they lose in 6 games, but the future for this squad looks very bright. Without Ja Morant, the Grizzlies fall to the 9th pick in the 2020 NBA draft, where they select Tyrese Halliburton, addressing their need for a point guard and letting a rising star to lead their rebuild. Meanwhile, at the 12th pick, the Kings pivot and select Aaron Nesmith, adjusting their draft strategy after missing out on Halliburton. With Ja Morant running the offense and complementing Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, the Celtics finished the 2020-21 season with a 40-32 record, 4 wins better than their original campaign. Ja's playmaking kept the team competitive even after Jaylen Brown went down with a late season injury. Boston secured the 6th seed in the East, avoiding the play-in tournament, but faced a tough matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round. Without Al Horford to help contain Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Celtics struggled defensively, while Drew Holiday's defense limited Ja Morant's impact. Jason Tatum delivered a standout 50-point performance in Game 3 to give Boston their lone win of the series, but the Bucks were simply too strong. The Celtics fell in 5 games, marking their first-round exit since 2016, a disappointing end to an otherwise promising season. Meanwhile, the Grizzlies experienced a drop-off without Ja Morant, but still managed a decent season, finishing with 28 wins. Rookie Tyrese Halliburton was a bright spot, showcasing his potential as a future star. With the 9th pick in the 2021 NBA draft, the Memphis Grizzlies selected Ziaire Williams. The 2021-22 season started on a high note for the Celtics, a sharp contrast to their real-life struggles when they began the year at 18-21. Ja Morant was a catalyst. He had taken a major leap, averaging 24 points and 7 assists per game. With Ja orchestrating the offense and Jason Tatum continuing to play at an All-NBA level, the Celtics looked unstoppable at times. Jaylen Brown thrived in his role as the third option, seamlessly contributing on both ends of the floor, while Marcus Smart anchored a top-tier defense. Before the season, Boston had traded Marcus Morris, Daniel Tice, and draft picks for Al Horford. They also pulled off the mid-season trade for Derek White, solidifying their depth. The Celtics finished the regular season with a dominant 59-23 record, earning the 1st seed in the East and the 2nd best record in the league. However, as the wins piled up, so did the debates. Who was the true leader of the Celtics? Tatum remained the leading scorer and clutch time performer, but Ja's rapid rise sparked questions about whether he was becoming the team's most important player. With momentum on their side, Boston entered the playoffs as true title contenders. The Grizzlies without Ja faced challenges, but still managed a respectable 46-36 record, 10 fewer wins than in reality. Tyrese Halliburton stepped up as the new franchise player, averaging 19 points and 9 assists a game, showcasing his elite playmaking and leadership. Memphis earned a playoff spot but fell to the Phoenix Suns in 6 games. Despite the early exit, Halliburton's performance gave fans hope for the future. The absence of Halliburton in Sacramento led to significant ripple effects. Without him as a trade piece, the Kings couldn't make a deal for Domantas Sabonis. Instead, Sabonis was traded to the Washington Wizards, who were eager to pair Bradley Beal with another star. In return, the Pacers received Rui Hachimura, Thomas Bryant, and a protected first-round pick. The 2021-22 playoffs were all about the Celtics proving they could compete for a championship. In the first round, they faced the Atlanta Hawks. Jason Tatum's scoring and Boston's defense shut down Trae Young, leading to an easy series win in 5 games. In the second round, the Celtics took on the 76ers, with the Big Three firing on all cylinders. They dominated on both ends of the floor, cruising to another 5-game win. Next up was the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. This time, Ja Morant's presence made all the difference. He lightened the load on Tatum and Brown, and the trio broke down Miami's tough defense. After a hard-fought series win, Boston came out on top in 6 games, making it back to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2010. The finals saw a clash between two teams with something to prove. The Celtics looking to start a new era, and the Warriors aiming to keep the dynasty alive. Boston started strong, winning the first 2 games at home as Golden State struggled to deal with the trio of Tatum, Brown, and Morant. The Warriors bounced back with the winning Game 3, but Ja Morant stole the spotlight. With the game tied in the final seconds of Game 4, Ja hit a clutch 3-pointer to seal the win, shifting all the momentum back to Boston. Golden State avoided elimination with the Game 5 road win, but the Celtics closed it out in Game 6. Boston's defense stepped up, and their stars delivered. Ja Morant led the charge, capping off an incredible finals performance. His explosive play and game-changing moments earned him Finals MVP, making him the youngest player to win the award since Magic Johnson. With their first championship since 2008, the Celtics officially started a new era of dominance, with Ja, Tatum, and Brown leading the way. Fresh off their 2022 NBA title, the Celtics entered the 2022-23 season with sky-high expectations. The trio of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Ja Morant had firmly established themselves as the league's most dynamic big three. Tatum led the team in scoring, Ja's playmaking and explosiveness elevated their offense, and Brown's two-way game gave Boston unmatched versatility. Boston dominated the regular season, finishing with an NBA-best 60-22 record. Tatum continued his MVP-level play, averaging 29 points per game, while Ja solidified his spot as a top 10 player, posting 26 points and 8 assists a night. Brown thrived in his role, contributing 20 points per game while anchoring the defense with Marcus Smart, Robert Williams, and Derek White. The Celtics' balanced attack and elite defense made them nearly unstoppable. Entering the playoffs as the number 1 seed, the Celtics looked determined to defend their title. In the first round, they faced the Miami Heat. Despite Jimmy Butler's heroic efforts, the Celtics' Big Three proved too much, as they closed out the series in 6 games. In the second round, the Celtics dominated the New York Knicks, sweeping them with ease. The Eastern Conference Finals set up a rematch with the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo delivered a dominant series, but Boston's depth and star power proved overwhelming. The Celtics won in 6 games, punching their ticket to a second straight NBA Finals. The 2022-23 NBA Finals featured the Boston Celtics against the Denver Nuggets. Denver relied on Nikola Jokic's dominance and Jamal Murray's scoring, but Boston's depth and versatility proved too much. Jaylen Brown played a key role, shutting down Murray defensively while chipping in 22 points per game. Ja Morant relentlessly attacked the paint, exposing Denver's interior defense, while Jason Tatum led the way with consistent scoring and clutch performances. The Nuggets couldn't keep up with Boston's relentless pressure on both ends of the floor. The Celtics controlled the series and closed it out in 6 games, securing back-to-back championships. Jason Tatum earned Finals MVP honors thanks to his leadership and standout performances throughout the series, solidifying himself as one of the league's best. The 2023-24 season was a challenging one for the Celtics, as the hopes of a three-peat faced significant setbacks. Coming off back-to-back championships, Boston chose not to trade for Kristaps Porzingis, keeping their core intact. However, disaster struck early when Ja Morant suffered a season-ending injury after just 9 games. To make matters worse, Robert Williams was sidelined for the entire season after undergoing surgery, leaving the Celtics without their dynamic point guard and defensive anchor. Despite these losses, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown rose to the challenge, while Derek White stepped up as the starting point guard, providing steady playmaking and elite defense. Boston's depth and resilience allowed them to grind through the season, finishing as the first seed in the East with a 56-26 record, down from the 60 wins the year prior. The Celtics entered the playoffs determined but no longer the dominant force they had been, with questions surrounding how far they could go without 2 key pieces. The playoffs presented a different challenge for Boston. In the first round, they faced the Miami Heat for the 3rd straight year, Without Jimmy Butler, Miami was outmatched and the Celtics cruised to a dominant 5-game series win. In the second round, the Celtics took on a short-handed Cavaliers team, missing Donovan Mitchell and Jarrett Allen. Once again, Boston took care of business in 5 games. The Eastern Conference Finals brought an even weaker opponent in the New York Knicks. Injuries decimated the Knicks roster, leaving them without their 2 top players and forcing a team led by Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, and Isaiah Hartenstein to face the Celtics. Even without Ja Morant and Robert Williams, Boston swept the Knicks in dominating fashion, securing their 3rd straight trip to the NBA Finals, putting them in the finals for the 3rd year in a row, this time against the angry Denver Nuggets team on their revenge tour from last year's playoffs, led by the MVP Nikola Jokic. The 2023-24 NBA Finals featured a highly anticipated rematch with the Denver Nuggets. Boston was chasing a three-peat, while Denver, led by MVP Nikola Jokic, was on a revenge tour after last year's loss. Without Ja and Robert Williams, the Celtics leaned heavily on Tatum and Brown. Both delivered strong performances, but after 4 games, the series was tied 2-2. A blowout loss in Game 5 swung the momentum to Denver, and in Game 6, the Nuggets closed out the series, ending Boston's three-peat dreams. Nikola Jokic was unstoppable, putting up historic numbers and controlling every aspect of the game. Jamal Murray came up clutch time and time again, breaking down Boston's defense. The Celtics, without 2 of their key pieces, simply didn't have enough to overcome Denver's firepower. The Nuggets claimed their long-awaited championships, avenging their final loss from the year prior. So overall, if this had happened, the Celtics would have built one of the greatest young cores in NBA history. Drafting Ja Morant in 2019 alongside Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown would have turned them into a powerhouse, leading to back-to-back championships in 2022 and 2023. Even with the setbacks in the 23-24 season, they still reached the finals, proving their depth, heart, and ability to compete at the highest level. With Ja Morant returning healthy, Robert Williams back in the mix, and the stars entering their primes, the Celtics would be in prime position to win more championships and cement a true dynasty in the years to come.